Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I go by the Blue Light Oracle, and in today's reading we're going to continue with the RPG life. So we're going to pick our piles. Now this is going from 41 to 50. So we're starting to get into our Middle Ages. I will say that this reading could have some close encounters, we'll say. I'm just wondering because I can kind of see that maybe 3 piles will be next week. But we'll see. So we'll see how these lives go. And remember, this is just a fun reading. You can glean whatever insight is on it, but this is meant to just be for fun. Okay, so I think we've shuffled enough. You can see the first pile here. And pile 4. Here, so let's take a look at your piles. So for pile 1, on the light side you have passionate, and on the shadow side there is indifferent. And for pile 2 you have, on the light side you have encourage, and on the shadow attribute is frustrated. So for pile 3 you have reliable, and the shadow is variable. And for pile number 4 you have hope on the light side, and on the shadow attribute is hopeless. Okay, so these are the 4 piles you'll be choosing from today with regards to, I believe it's episode 6 of the RPG life. So tune into your intuition, see which one calls to you. What I can do is I'll leave the timestamps in the description below, so feel free to jump to your particular card reading from below, and we'll get into the shuffling process next, but I'll give you some time to choose your pile. Welcome back to the shuffling process. So this is very interesting because I haven't said it in the introduction, but each pile, or I'm splitting the piles as usual, but the first one I thought of as doing the journey like always, and then the second section of each pile is, this one's going to be about family. It's about whether you're single or not, or have children in this life, it's still about family and your connections, for sure. But more than just connections, this is about family. So it's going to be an interesting one. And I can kind of see here with like the couple, the person holding up like a small child, these two high-fiving, and this person very mindful. So the piles turned out kind of perfect in that sense. Like very, very nice. Okay, so the first section, this is for the first section, and this will be around your journey. There's so many cards in this deck. Okay. I've changed my microphone again because I did buy a new one, but it just picks up so much static. And when I've got the aircon on, because it's very hot here in Australia is summer, it's just too much. it's too much static and too much sound. And I think in my last few videos, the S's, I was looking for an app to take care of the S's, but they're just too snake sounding. And I was like, okay, no worries, we will leave this. I'll get back to my headset, and I think it's much easier for me anyway to move around with. So I'll keep that for now until I find a better option. I think I'm going to put the tarot cards mixed within. These are going to be red reversed as well. It's going to be a whatever happens. So I'm shuffling on top. This is easy. Okay. Just trying to pick up some other cards. I think with these ones we go for 2 each at least. Okay. Goes for 3. Yep. Okay. That was a lot quicker than I thought it would be. Yeah, this has been a fun little thing. I think after once all the piles pass, or each life has an ending, then I believe I will be moving to something else. I don't know if it'll be another fun one. Might have a break from fun ones for a while and just have some more, you know, on the serious side of life kind of readings. The good thing is there's so many card readers and on YouTube, so a lot of the bases are covered. That's why a lot of my reads don't relate to relationships, because I feel like there's a lot of readers who cover relationships, or how people are thinking about you, or things like that. So I feel like a lot of it is covered, which is good. So I try to see what else maybe needs to be said that hasn't been covered. I just go by what I'm guided to. Okay, these all got 2 each. Okay, so that's the first section. I'm going to clear the cards and then skip, and then we'll do the second section of your readings. Hello again. So this is going to be for each pile again. This is going to be the second section, and this is going to be about your life's family life, let's say. Focusing on your family, your connections, your loved ones. So we'll see how this out for each pile. This one here for pile 2. But yeah, this has definitely been fun. I don't know anyone else that kind of does this kind of thing. I kind of hope it will catch on in some sense, but because I know a lot of people are doing more serious stuff, and that's important as well. But there's time for breaks. It's okay to let yourself have a break. I think people work from like once they start school, they just keep going until they retire, and then they're like, well, what now? Kind of thing. What else can I work on? Gotta learn to take some breaks, take some pauses, take some relaxation. And it was interesting because relaxation is really important. And I can see it sometimes with people that are on vacation and they already have every day planned out. It's okay to have some time to relax. It's not all about pushing yourself so hard into work. Not a bad thing, it's just it's nice to have balance. That's all it's about. Have some balance. Find out why you don't want to stop. Okay. So some of these are going to be read reverse, that's fine. How I've intended it. But as always, everyone's got to do what they feel they got to do. So if they feel like they got to live life like it's a mission, got to do it. Got to do what feels right. I really like this deck. One, great cards on the back, great pictures, but also they almost feel like oracle cards. Like they're all tarot, but they just speak at such depth and have so much more to say. It's so interesting. Yeah, we'll go one more. Well, this one just flips straight up. So if that helps you pick the last pile, the Six of Swords reversed. Kind of like this one. Because while it's like, it's always moving from one place to another, this is very slowly. And the rabbit wants to get there quicker, but sometimes you have to go through the process of letting things go instead of just ignoring and getting to the future. It's about taking your time to get there. So I will flip this back up and put this here. But that concludes the shuffling, so thanks for being here, and also thank you so much for being part of this experience, or this reading experience. Again, down below is the timeline, so feel free to skip to your reading for 1, 2, 3, and 4. But otherwise, I'll see you in your reading. Hello, pile number 1. So today you have chosen the Passionate card with Indifference. So we'll see how this starts off. Before I start, I'll just let you know this pile here is for your journey in your 40s from 41 to 50. And here is the cards that are going to represent your connections, your family, mostly your loved ones and family. So we'll see how this turns out. I'm just going to start from the top. You have Slow and Steady reversed. I move this down here. You have the Flying reversed. This is interesting because flying is wanting to just take off. This is like a warning to slow down. And Slow and Steady as well, talking to the same kind of effect. It's more of like an unwillingness to slow down and relentlessly wanting to do something. It's just a warning though, so we'll see how this goes. You have the Temple of Truth with the Throat Chakra, authenticity and self-expression. Really coming into your own in this life, in your 40s. You have the Hierophant reversed. Many reversed cards. You have the Eight of Cups reversed. You have the Shield Maiden, Make Plans and Focus. I'm going to move these down because this one needs to go here, right below this one. Alright, so you've got Femme Fatale. This came out earlier in episode maybe 2 or 3. I can't remember exactly, but this one has come out before. So Femme Fatale. The light attributes highlights the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. Shadow attribute is inappropriate use of sensuality, attachment to money and power. Straight away I can see here with the Femme Fatale that this is about taking back control. of your life, or feeling like you have been kind of guided, and generally your guides are doing what's right for you, but also not really exercising your free will as much in your maybe earlier life, or maybe just before your 40s. There was a certain aspect that felt like you were just coasting, I want to say. There's some shifts in here too. This make plans and focus with the Temple of Truth, especially with authenticity, is coming back into your own. I feel like whatever happened in your 30s, whether it was like a good coming to a climax or kind of coming to an end of the 30s and being either ready for your 40s or not, regardless, something has kind of slowed you down in some way, and then getting back into your, I will still say early 40s, mid 40s, you started to pick back up again, started to rebel, I want to say, rebel against the social norm, or just the norms of what has happened in your past. Almost like regardless of what your past has been, it doesn't define your future, and you've started to want to push for a huge change very quickly. It took time. It definitely took time. I feel like you knew this and you wanted this change. You wanted to start opening up your heart again to your passions, to what you really enjoy doing in life, and started to speak it out and started to plan and go forward. Maybe you've started to do like a career change or something. You're like, I'm not going to be boxed in. I'm going to let the sensual or feminine side, it's almost like the danger of the feminine as well. What do I mean by the danger of the feminine? I mean like the almost using your regardless of what gender this being or this life is, it's using a more subtle and delicate and maybe even sharper senses kind of way of getting what you want out of life. It's really interesting because I can't see exactly what you are doing, but I feel like you are going on a mission. You're going on a journey for sure. This is like getting geared up to go to battle in some sense, but making plans and focus is always about deciding what you want to do, taking the time, and then going. And I feel like you might have rushed here to make some changes, and that kind of didn't lead perfectly, but it opened the opportunity to start to move away from whatever was in your past and start to plan and go forward. But it took a lot of work internally to get to this point. There was a lot of like, because they're just reversed, so it feels like it's all very internal. It's like your own internal blocks, your own internal boundaries needing to be reviewed, wanting to take flight and just feeling like this magical being that just wants to take off. And you wanted to do it very early in your 40s, but I feel like it's not like no one's stopping you, it's just it was too quick. Sometimes you can't just go like, you know what, I want to ignore what's happening in the world and I just want to go. I just want to just leave. That's kind of how it's feeling. It's like you have to actually work with what you've got, your family, your friends, your occupation, whatever, anything like that, your hobbies. There's still reliance that you have to tie up and finish off before you start this journey. And you did that. I feel like in this one you're starting to get going. I feel like we're going to find out more what that is in regards to relationships and family. But yeah, definitely standing into your power in your 40s. So very interesting. It's feeling like your real self. I feel like you started to put your feet on the earth and really start living life in your middle ages. Instead of being up in your head and up in the clouds, it's like really starting to live on earth. Starting to process your emotions. It's like you've done some shadow work or some like dark work, working in your shadows to understand how you tick and understand who you are in some sense. Coming to some understanding, maybe even leaving that behind in some sense, It's like jumping in this like iron robot or rock golem and then going for it. So very interesting. And that's what I kind of see in this first section. I feel like we're going to see more in here, but you're using some kind of sensuality, erotic power within you to really feel who you are on this planet. So I'm going to clear the cards, and then I'll come back to your second part of your reading. Okay, welcome back. So part number 1, we'll have a look at your family and relationships. So this time I'm going to separate these. Oh, interesting. So you've got detective. This is so interesting with the first card from this deck in the first section of your pile. You had the femme fatale. So the detective attributes are great powers of observation and intuition, desire to seek out the truth. You had the throat chakra in there. I knew it was going to tie into this because I really wasn't seeing a lot, but I feel like that was like the groundwork of your journey, and this is really where we're going to find out the nuts and bolts. So your shadow attribute is voyeurism, falsifying information. So interesting. Voyeurism is in regards to a shadow. So maybe it's like spying, but like, I guess creeping in a way, if it's shadow. So you have gratitude. I think you were allowed to do what you did because you were definitely in a rush. Yeah. What did I just say? Letting go, you were in a rush. Letting go of urgency was something you had to do. Surrender, freedom from time constraints. Yeah, being grateful for the people around you. I think some of the people around you knew exactly what you were going through. Your children even. They're like very in tuned and onto it. So you have Shungite with protection from modern ills, grounding, everyday healing, and purifying. Like I said with the last section of your pile, with exactly the spot with the Hierophant reversed, it just felt like having to do some shadow work. So purifying makes sense. And grounding. Grounding's always important anyway, but definitely in this reading. So you have the Page of Cups. That's so interesting. It felt like you were going on a new journey, planning that near the end of your life, and I feel like kind of got some really good support from your family, and this feels like that too. Feels like the support. It's also about like the water can also be about psychic abilities and things like that, using your intuition. I feel like your family, your children, maybe your partner are very intuitive as well. You also have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, you have a very strong partner. Whether this is one that's come through or someone that you've met in between the reads, it's someone that's very supportive and giving. You also have the Ace of Wands reversed. Yeah, I feel like you're ready to go on your next journey. But I will say you're very grateful for your family and children who have come through in this life. I do feel like there's children in your life, whether they're your biological or adopted or like children that you found along the way, if that makes sense, like abandoned in some sense, like adopted. That's what I want to say. Like you've come across, like, say, a town that's been attacked, and you know there's some children that have survived, and you've kind of helped them out, and then one or two or whatever have come through with you, and you've taken them on your own journey. Because I say it like that because it feels like you haven't stopped or wanted to slow down in your life just because you're in your 40s. But this is so interesting. Detective, I feel like this is part of you as well. From everything that you have learnt over the years, you're starting to use those abilities and refine them in your work as well. And your family are picking up on that, and they're kind of part of that journey as well. You have a very supporting partner, letting go of urgency, literally what we talked about before. We had the slow and steady card reversed, needing to talk about starting to slow down and think about what to do, in the flying card, which is like wanting to take that leap of faith, kind of like the Fool card, but almost reversed as well, like taking a risk, wanting to just go, and that card wanting to slow down, take the time to consider everything, especially family, but they're very supportive. Partner especially, very supportive. It's very interesting because I don't think there's like any major events or anything like that that needs to be shouted out. It's more of like a whole bunch of internal work in your 40s, a whole bunch of understanding where you are on the planet, where you are in the world, who you are, how you can contribute, what you can contribute, what you've done in the past, just like a whole lot of reflection. But it looks like with even the Ace of Wands being reversed, it's still like that need to slow down, but you are excited and it's almost like risky kind of going. But I don't think it's such a bad reverse. It's still reversed, but I don't think it's like a negative for what's to come. But yeah, near the end again, Page and Ace, it's like new beginnings, new emotional beginnings. It's like setting out and starting to be like feeling like an 18-year-old again. I guess it could be considered like a midlife crisis, but I don't think it's a crisis. I feel like you've dealt with some of the stuff from the past with these cards. And you're really happy with your family life anyway. Maybe this is getting to the point where it's like in the game where you start to, you know how in Skyrim or something like that, you look for a partner, you find the house, you start building the house. It's very that reminiscent of that. Instead of going out and fighting and following the main quest, let's say, you're starting to do the family stuff. But yeah, that might be quite short, but that's exactly what I see in your reading. So thank you very much for being here again today, Pile 1. If you've enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any content. Otherwise, this looks great. Looks like a very internal, hard-working, internally, like removing blocks, setting new boundaries, and, realizing that just because you're, getting older doesn't mean your life stops. Time to take a new path or keep going. So we'll see how that goes in your 50s. But otherwise, take care of yourself and I'll see you in the next video. Hi, pile number 2. So you've chosen today the Encourage card. Very interesting. With this image of this baby with this it always reminds me of the Lion King when Rafiki's holding up Simba to the to the animals of Africa, I guess. Serengeti. So this is split into 2 piles. So this here will be your family life in your 40s, and this will be your journey in your 40s. So we'll have a look at your cards. Oh, interesting. So your journey, you have the athlete. I feel like this popped up last time too, so maybe if you pick that pile, there's like a continuation of this in some sense. So you've got dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower, and strength of spirit. So it looks like very physical, kind of doing the work. This is interesting because you see his arm, it like whoops out. I guess because he's literally holding up the planet. The shadow attribute is misuse of athletic ability for selfish needs, false sense of invulnerability and entitlement. We'll see how this comes through, but it's just interesting because he's lifting up the world. This is lifting up this child. So maybe you've got like we'll see what happens, but it feels like a very strong connection with children. So you've got the Heart Guardian. Love and let yourself be loved. Yeah, this is your journey we're talking about. This feels like it should be maybe in the family, but maybe this is your journey. It's like both assets or facets of your family and love life. I'll go with this one next. So you have the Order of Melchizedek. I think Melchizedek came through last time as well in another pile, last reading. So embraced by light, missions uncovered, don't give up. Some kind of breakthrough. It's almost like, you have a family, but that doesn't mean you stop your journey or slow down your journey. So you've got home reversed. You also have Ghostland reversed. That's so interesting. You're traveling. This is so interesting now I see it. You're kind of traveling with your family. Your family are taking. You're kind of showing your family that you can be strong and be in the world, not just sit at home and kind of raise children. Isn't a problem, but it's like your home isn't really your one-stop home. Your home is wherever you make it, and Ghostland is just feels like you're going out of your world, your planet, your country, your city. This feels like you're traveling, you're taking like journeys to planets that have been undiscovered or countries, or like it's kind of like discovering the Americas and people discovering new land, building new maps, meeting new people, civilizations, that kind of thing. So you have the Prince of Cups. Yeah, you're taking flight. You actually are traveling. It's more like the Americas. I wonder if the eagle has anything to do with this. It's not like you're discovering America or anything. It's just, I wonder if that's kind of similar tribes or land, bountiful land, that kind of thing. You also have the Sun reversed. It's interesting because I feel like it's also working through some stuff that, especially with the Heart Guardian right next to home, it's like working through stuff that really hurt you in the past. This is very similar message to the last pile as well. But I feel like it's going to be a theme, and let's be honest, as we get older, we deal with a lot more. Well, we deal with a lot of stuff, and so eventually things are going to be wanted to be worked on. And I feel like that's exactly it. And it's like, embrace the light, embrace this change. There is still light in the world. You've got very, like, it looks like you've built up a lot of muscle or strength, physical strength. So you're using that to your advantage, or you've got, maybe there was something that, like, you lost a limb or something like that, or you were injured, but you haven't let that stop you. Like, you still have certain things about you that you can improve regardless, whether that's physical or magical. I feel like some of the travels you're taking is like uncovering new places, and although it's like with the sun being right there reversed, it's like you aren't really uncovering or finding a lot of new species, new people, new places, great things. It's like you really want to find like that Ark of the Covenant kind of feeling. Like maybe you're not finding that, but what you are uncovering is still space or places that haven't been walked on or stepped on or uncovered before. I'm going to say I don't know how you do it. I think it's like with this little cup here, it's just reminding me of like an hourglass. It's like shifting time or something like that with this kind of like a gateway, almost like a portal. Stargate. It reminds me of Stargate in some way. You're stepping through. You know how in Stargate there's like that race, or they go through and those people look like ancient Egyptians. They have those shooty staffs. It's staves. Anyway, it kind of reminds me of that. It's like these people don't look like they are advanced, but they are in certain sections. Maybe their clothes might be modest or traditional, like medieval times, but it doesn't mean that they're not advanced in some way. But yeah, I think a lot of the expeditions are coming up with very barren places, but there's still things to be celebrated about that. What you're doing is exactly what you love to do. You're enjoying it. Maybe in some cases you are not focusing a huge amount on your family. We will see if that's true, but you do put them on high esteem. It's like you're doing this for your family. You're showing them this experience. It's almost like you're taking them there to show them what a world with separate from your current planet or world is like, what it's like. But I do like the don't give up. You are working on yourself a lot too here. Some stuff from the past has been worked on. I feel like a lot of it's still not been. It's still carried on. So it's like you can see the light as well with the sun. it's going to get there. There's just still more work to do, probably continuing in your 50s, which makes sense because shadow work for everybody doesn't just get done in the first day or week. I will say with the frustrated as well, I do want to say this planets or whatever you're finding is not uncovering a whole lot of good or a lot of excitement, and so it's still feeling a bit like flat in that sense. But there's still some lighting. You still got the sun on your side. You're still traveling and you're doing things. It's like take a look around at your family, your life, how far you've come, the things you're working on. Huge amount of growth. Might not feel like it because you're not feeling like you're uncovering something that you really want to. Like you're doing a lot of work. That's what I want to say in this life. So very interesting. I'm going to clear these ones and we'll have a look at your family here. Okay, welcome back. So for the second section, this is about family. So for pile 2, you have priest. This is so interesting. The light attribute is facilitate spiritual commitments, service as a channel, or spiritual energy. Is this how you're connecting? I really feel like you are taking your children with you on this journey. And it's almost like it's for them. So now it makes a little bit more sense to me because it's like they're there, but they're not physically there. Which makes sense because you're going to like barren planets and stuff, and I was thinking you're just taking your family there. So this makes more sense now. So this says violates the shadow attribute is violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduces your own spiritual role. See how this comes in, and again, it's like this person's covering or like protecting this person down here, and again, it just ties in. So these cards have matched up twice now. You have the purification, pure spirit. Yeah, you're definitely doing what you feel is right. I feel like sometimes you're almost questioning what you're doing, like, are you doing the right thing? You also have Archangel Ragael with justice, harmony, and solutions. Okay, this is making more sense now why you're traveling, why you're going to these other planets. It's almost like you're finding a better place, a better future. So you also have Onyx with seeing the future. Yeah, you see it all right. Responsibility, stamina, and self-mastery. It's interesting it's coming up here because this is exactly where the home card was, or in the same area, and that was talking about improvements of some sort, working on your inner past issues. That's how it felt. But also making home wherever you are, like you're a traveler for sure. So you have the world card as well. Like I said, traveling to other worlds, taking family as well in some sense. You have the Ten of Pentacles, right where the Ghost Land card was. So you're not finding this like abundance. I wonder if it's to move your family there. This doesn't feel like anything bad being reversed. It just feels like it's not happening for you yet. And you have the Two of Cups. Yeah, you're doing this for your family. Like I said, this was for your family. You've got the World, the Two of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, even though it's reversed. You're seeing you're trying to find a place to be happy with your family and your children in the future. That's how this one's feeling. I will say you're doing it with the light side of life. You're not doing it to show other people that, or your family, like, look how good I am, I can find a great place. That's not what this is about. This is about finding exactly what you want for your family. So it's like you're finding what you want, but it's with their life and safety and health in mind while you're looking and traveling. I will say this is all peace, and you're kind of following your guidance, your calling. Spiritual channel of energy, what does it say? Serves as a channel of spiritual energy. Clearly, on this expedition, not just you, there are other people. I don't think they play a huge part in the story, though, for some reason. Like, they're not they're important to the expedition, but they're not important to your RPG story, let's say. They're kind of like NPCs in a video game. You know, you can talk to them to get some insight, but you're the one that's kind of captaining or directing where to go. Still looking, but you're doing it with like for your family or your loved one. So it's very nice. The world is interesting because it's like you are traveling to other worlds. There's a lot of travel here, but you're also tying things up. So the stuff that you're working through, maybe you're not getting through everything, but like when I say working through those things from the past, you're purifying your like energy and your aura. Nice with the priest as well. It's like you're getting there. You're getting stuff done internally, but your family and your children can connect with you. Maybe it is through this channeling kind of ability. They are there in spirit, but maybe not in physical. But I do feel like once you find a place, once you find this planet, this right place to be, they can come with you in some sense. So they're kind of with you in spirit. I don't know if they're past, but they're with you in spirit anyway. It's like you're doing it for the world. You're kind of doing this traveling for the betterment of your species, or for the betterment of maybe even like the downtrodden, the poorer people in the world. Kind of be like a new place. You're trying to find the new utopia, let's say. So we'll see how you go in your 50s, but that's exactly what I see for you, pile number 2. So thank you for being here. Feel free to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed, or subscribe so you don't miss any more content. Otherwise, take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Hi, pile number 3. So you have chosen today reliable with variable. Very interesting. See how this plays into your reading today. You have 2 piles. This one here will be the second section, and this is your family, and here is your journey. So what are you doing in this life? So you have the seeker, where the light attribute is thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. The shadow attribute is inability to commit to a path once found. So interesting. Searching out for almost like purpose in life, or somewhere to settle down, or somewhere to call your own. Finding treasures, secrets, uncovering is what I want to say. Okay. So you have the direction guardian, choose your path. So interesting with the seeker right there. Okay, we have the coming apart card. Very interesting. There's like some emotional part of you that is unfulfilled. It's like searching for that kind of meaning in your life. You have Storm Fields reversed. So I'll just show you this card. I feel like this is important. You also have the Akashic Records, with clearing old stories, releasing past lives, and freedom. Yeah, you're trying to find your slice of heaven, I want to say. You have the Ace of Swords. Yep. New ideas, new goals, new direction. And you have the Two of Discs. I think I want to move that here. There is something here that is kind of like being unfulfilled in this life. I'm not sure what happened in this past life. However you've come to be here right now, it's tough. There's a lot of imbalance in your 40s, in this journey. It's almost like the past actions you've taken have really played a big part of they're starting to play a very heavy role in your life in your 40s. It's like you've chosen your direction, you've chosen your path, but have you committed fully to it? Not too sure. You've tried to look for wisdom on the outside, but the wisdom was within all along. Like clearing old stories, releasing past lives and freedom. The way for happiness was to release your past instead of going out there and searching for it, searching for what's going to make you happy in life, maybe it's another person, that kind of thing. Like, that doesn't feel like the case. It's really, happiness comes from within, finding balance within, finding the ideas from within. The Stormy Fields even talks about, especially reversed, it's like whatever action you're going to do, whatever you're trying to engage with, whatever you're trying to force, it's like destructive to your psyche, I want to say. This is like very 40s, early 40s to mid 40s. And then coming to a realization. Sorry, my computer just turned off, so I had to stop. But coming to, which is very interesting for this, it's like a light switch came on when it came to here, because it just shut down. So it was like, this was almost like a dark path with a variable. It's like trying so many different things to get happiness in your life in your 40s, and then coming to a realization that starts within. And there's a lot of stuff that if you think about from your past that can cause cracks. But instead of just letting let's say the crack start and then just leaving it, that's not the thing. You need to break it open and rebuild it. It's like a tower feeling with the coming apart. I do want to say though, I feel like you've finally understood this and then started to make a new direction. It's okay. I know it says on here, inability to commit to a path once found. It was like, no, you did overcommit to a path without thinking of where happiness starts from. It starts from within, and balance within is from within. It's all about the internal. We'll see what happens with the friends and family, how they play along in the story, because it feels like a really rough kind of 40s. It's very rough. There's a lot of internal thinking and breaking down your old walls, old psyche, old things in your life that just really weren't working, and almost forcing it. And this kind of was like the universe slapping you back kind of feeling with the Stormfield reverse. It's like choosing to say no to your own internal storm. You're not just going to let it rage forever and ever. You're going to start working on it internally. So there is this light near the end of your 40s. Okay, but that is exactly what I see in this section of your reading. We'll have a look at family because I do feel like it's going to play more into the story. So I'm going to clear the cards and then we'll get back to your message. Okay, welcome back to your second part of your reading. So have a look at your cards. So you have child, nature, friendship with animals, communication with nature spirits. Shadow is tendency to abuse animals, people, and the environment. Those are such flip-flops. It's so interesting because this element in here is I believe it's rainforest or forest in this particular Aboriginal ancestral wisdom deck. Just feels very natural as well. It's talking about that. Okay. So you have the air spirit of knowledge. The more you know. Look, more forest. Traveling. You have shamanic healer, cleanse and attunement. I feel like you've done that in that first section. You realize near the end of that you needed to break apart to be able to rebuild and form yourself back again. I feel like your family in some sense are on this journey with you. Like they are participating in some sense in this journey. So you have Ruby with increased abundance, passion, lucid dreaming, and light of the soul. I will say this feels like more light of the soul, and especially passion. You had a passion. You were driven, this like from the start of your 40s for sure. Definitely driven for knowledge. You were seeking knowledge, seeking what was missing, but I feel like it was more external until you realized. No, this is internal. This is where this works in shamanic healer. Perhaps on your journey you've even found a healer of some sort. I feel like that would be right because it's like in the woods or in nature and kind of your children or your child is like along with this this trip. I wasn't sure in the first section, but it does feel like they're here with you. Right, this is so interesting because in the last section the Two of Pentacles was reversed, and right here it is upright, so it does feel like that balance, it was found, was aligned, or is coming into alignment through the hard work. The healer isn't doing all the work for you. The healer is here to help you do better for yourself and for your family. So you have the Ace of Cups reversed, and we also have the Six of Cups reversed. I'm going to say this is in regards to the challenges of life in some way. If there was one life from the past reading where I believe the mother passed, and if you've come from that one, this may be why you decided to go on this long journey, finding or seeking happiness. Maybe you were trying to find the knowledge to bring back this person, but you know that's eventually you found out that that's not what's going to bring you back. All you can do is, and getting stuck in it is like remembering the past here, and reminiscing on the good times and things that have come along in your life. And then here is being stuck in the past, and I feel like at some point in your journey you were stuck in the past for your family, but you have your child here. This child of nature doesn't feel like you, it feels like your child is growing up. You've still got family here, you've still got the two of you. You're still going on your journey, you're still learning. You're still doing a lot of improvements internally. This is so interesting because a lot of maybe this is what happens when you're in your 40s. I'm not in my 40s yet, but maybe this is what happens. You do a whole lot of soul searching, which makes sense in a little bit why they talk about midlife crisis and stuff like that, because you feel like you haven't done enough or not doing enough now and whatever. I don't know. But these readings have kind of touched on true things. But yeah, you've been exploring. You've been trying to uncover. You've realized it is internal though. These feel like internal, and so while it's hard pill to swallow to start a new emotional connection or a new beginning because the past really hurts, and yeah, but you're going to find your passion for this again. Like lucid dreaming, you've seen signs. It's like the ayahuasca thing kind of is coming into mind. Never done it, probably won't do it, but like it's just feeling like that kind of you've had to go really within, understanding your dreams, understanding your journey to find the light again in your soul, and then bring your family and life back to balance, because it's about family. But family is part of your journey. And that's what I see for you, pile number 3. So thank you very much for being here. Looks like an interesting journey. We'll see how this rolls on. I feel like you're still working through hardships from either this is past family or someone who has passed in your life. Maybe a wife, kids, something like that. Something really challenging and huge, which was why you had coming apart. You don't just come apart for no reason. There is, because there's a lot going on and a lot of hardship. So thank you very much for being here. I know this was kind of heavy, even though this was a fun read. It's just like I'm going with what the cards say. But thank you very much for being here. If you enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you content. Otherwise, take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, pile number 4. So you've chosen today Hope with the shadow attribute of hopeless. Alright, and I've split your piles into 2. So here is a pile with regards to your journey in your 40s, and this is your family or your loved ones and connection. So we'll have a look at your cards. Oh, interesting. So you have Exorcist. The light attribute is freeing yourself and others from destructive impulses, and the shadow attribute is fear of facing your own demons. Well, this is going to be interesting how this plays in. You have the Magic Guardian, unlock the magic within. Such powerful cards. You have Halls of Amenti, initiation. Secrets revealed, treasures uncovered, initiation. This is so interesting because it's like initiations with this magic and the exorcist. What are you doing? Pile number 4, you've had a wild journey. Even if you haven't followed most of pile number 4, if you go back and, have to slog through all the readings again, I know they've been a while, but it's just an interesting story. It's almost like put it into an audiobook. It's very interesting. Okay. So you have education. Yep. You're learning more. How can you learn more? You know so much in this life. You have ride the wave. It's almost like this learning is easy. You kind of got the key, you unlock it, you've got it. It's not like here where you have to study for many years to understand and get the skills. You're kind of just so skilled and knowledgeable and you just know. So you have the 5 of Cups and you have the 4 of Discs reversed. Ride the wave is like going to success, getting success from education, from all these secrets revealed. Like you're finally understanding who you are in this life. There is a real opportunity here to release your demons, I want to say. And when I say demons, it's not really like how we would see, shadows or demon, that kind of thing, or even attachments, if you believe in demon attachments to people. It's literally like a real demon, like as part of your soul, I want to say. And it's getting that out, and it's almost learning how to do it yourself. You're so independent in this life. You're not so independent that you won't go to study or learn something. You've found it. It was quite a loss though. I feel like with the 5, it's like split. When I say split, you've literally had to cut yourself in half energetically or magically to detach this demon part of you that you had within. You've had hope, but you're so composed. And now you're in your 40s, you're not as risk-taking or as flighty as you were, or as you may have been when you were younger. I still feel like there's some sort of emotional learning in here as well. Near the end, something's happened. I'm trying to see exactly what this is. This may be in relation to your family, but treasures uncovered is like within. I feel like you've actually unlocked your full potential and now you know. Potentially in this life, you are some kind of ascended being, let's say, or superpower, superhuman, super being. And I feel like that's finally what I've been waiting for these weeks with you Pile 4, because we've just been from a very interesting birth of a child, to how you were raised. If you've just picked Pile 4, that wasn't the intention. I feel like you may have lost someone along the way as well. Not just in your 40s, but in your path in life, maybe family, parents, or just neglect in some way. So there's a bit, not a lot, just a bit of processing that with the 5 of Cups. It's like really thinking about it and, seeing that as a loss. But that's not the end, it's just a small blip on the life radar, let's say. You're kind of learning to open up with the 4 of Discs. It's usually the 4 reversed, to me, feels like you're hoarding something or hoarding wealth and not sharing. This doesn't feel like that exactly. It's more like keeping yourself closed off in some way to your family and friends, and you know that's not going to help you. But like the ride the wave feels like just letting yourself release in some way and just seeing where the wave takes you. Kind of how it's feeling, where the ride takes you, this ride of life. You're doing a lot. You're doing so much in this. It's just like there's so much. Unlocking here just feels like you are really going within, but it's not really within. It's like this magical kind of realm, this hidden world. You're going to some hidden world or some... It's not even like going through a portal, it's just like you can just be there. No one else can do that, or very few people can do that. You can do this though. It's like what we would think of astral travel, but you're not astral traveling there. You're just there physically, and you've unlocked almost all your full potential. You know, there's been some hardship along the way, but you finally cut whatever this was part of you off. It's interesting though, because did you cut off the light attribute or did you cut off the shadow? It feels like light. But I feel like there was a choice for that to cut off the shadow to bring light to the world. Did you cut off the light to domineer the world? And I do feel like you've chosen the light, regardless of how much you were tested in this life, to get to your 40s, close to your 50s. So that's what I see in this first portion. There's just a lot here. There was a lot of work. There was a lot of release. Like, releasing control, I mean. Not like releasing negativity, more like releasing control. So much control that you need. I feel like because you're really trying to be supportive. I almost feel like you've hidden your child. We'll see, but I feel like you've hidden your child. If you do have a child. Something's purposefully hidden. We'll see with this, so I'm going to clear the cards and then we'll come back to your reading. Welcome back, pile 4. So, very interesting reading as always. Oh, I see. So you've got child wounded. This talks about the light attribute is awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children. Opens the learning path of forgiveness. Do you know what? This is exactly how you got, why you chose the light. It's literally to not, like there's a lot of shadow and darkness in the world, and you've chosen to go the light way, possibly because you have your own child. This is why when I was looking at this card in the last section of your reading, this orange bit, I was thinking, why have you locked away or hidden your child? It's like a protection because this wounded feels like you're like protecting them. I don't know if they're physically wounded. We'll see. But you're doing it to protect your child from the outside forces. You're not. It's like you were kind of a helicopter, and then you kind of let it be, I want to say, and then something happened. Maybe they hurt themselves. Okay, maybe they hurt themselves. They're very powerful as well. The shadow attribute of the wounded, child wounded, is blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds, resists moving on through forgiveness. Yeah, you've had to forgive the past and all the crazy stuff that's happened in your life. And I mean crazy. This pile has been interesting. Like I was just saying, guardian of protection, you're protecting. You're protecting your children and you're also protecting this world. I'm glad you've chosen the light, just personally. So you have the talent guides reversed, spirit mentors and teachers. I'm going to say that it's reversed because you are the talent guide. You've kind of unlocked all your powers. You've finished off the final initiations and tests. Your initiation, that's why I was like, are you a god? From the last section of your reading, you're kind of like a god or a goddess. This might be the end of your pile 4. But I think you've finished. The initiation feels like you had to almost sacrifice yourself to be a protector. So you've got the gold sheen obsidian, or golden sheen obsidian. Personal power, spiritual manifestation, earth healing and new experiences. Personal power for sure. Yeah, look at this. This is the 9 of swords. This is usually the one where the kid or the character is lying in bed and you see all the swords because they can't sleep because they're stressed and thinking about all the things that could be. It's like anxiety. But I feel like you had to make a choice. like the baby or the child is like the cub in this sense, or the polar bear cub. It's just chilling. It's just like sleeping. And you are worried about what could happen, what could be coming. This is not what I expected. I knew something was going to happen with a pile, and I'm surprised that it's for you, pile 4, that this is the one that's coming to an end. You got the King of Swords, yeah. You're kind of in control of your own thoughts, your own spiritual manifestations, your own ideas. You kind of play the role. When I say a god, I don't mean like how we might see a god as doing everything. It's kind of like how you see the Avengers or something, where there's like Thor as technically a god, but he can't just like change the world by snapping his fingers. It's more like you have to work towards the goal. And you have the Six of Swords. This popped up in the reading earlier. When I was shuffling, this popped up and I was like, interesting, because this is like slowly moving away. There's a lot of sword energy in here, a lot of thoughts. You've had to consider what you were going to do. I do feel like this is probably the end for you, pile number 4. It's not like you passed. It's like you have ascended and you have decided to become a god or godlike creature. And that's it. You've moved on from this world. You're still a protector. You're still part of the world. You're still a protector in this world. I'm definitely getting like this is it. You won't die. I want to say that you don't actually die in this particular RPG scenario. You've kind of got to the end of this world, and you know how at the end of games you fight the boss and then you're done? You didn't have to fight the boss. Your boss was learning. You had to make a really hard decision and a stressful one, because your child is still here in this world. I think we will end pile number 4 here, sadly, but you have ascended. So if you've jumped into this one from another pile, congratulations, you have ascended, and you've become some kind of god from what you've learned. But you've unlocked the key to your future, I want to say, the key to your full potential. It's like when we come into this world, we have contracts. You have finished your last contract and you're done. So you're finished. You are here to protect the land, the people, especially children, the earth. Kind of like becoming an earth guardian, I want to say, like a Ent, one of those big trees. It feels like that kind of energy. You have so much more, but you kind of know that this is the best way to protect not just your own child who will continue on their journey, but also for all the children of the world. Yeah, even here, you're sitting on your throne above the world. This is like the highest peak, so you're kind of like in your astral or heavenly throne up here, it feels like. You're above, not above as in you're better than, just above, overviewing, making sure things are going right, and helping where you can. It's not easy to move on, but you have done it. You're kind of moving on from this earthly plane. And people can call on you when they need assistance. It's kind of like how we call on archangels or ascended masters. You're that level of what you can do, but I feel like you can also have influence within this world. You've just kind of shedded your body and let go, and there you go. You're an ascended master / god, which makes sense with the new experiences too, because this is going to be like a new life for you. Definitely different. I might come back to this reading at some point in the future. What happened to pile number 4, what happened to the god. But yeah, this is the end of your story. So I don't know if you're happy with this kind of ending, but it looks like you've got some offspring in this world who have some magical power. You're still you're guarding them for sure. They're protected. anything tries to get into this, you're going to be there. You're not gone exactly. You might have shed your skin, but you're not gone. And you've chosen the light, so you're helping the planet and the people. But anyway, thank you very much for being here. If you've enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any content. Otherwise, take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.